Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program. Her music moves in mysterious ways, and Filipinos can't help but fall in love.
And everything that I do is out of love in you.
International singer and songwriter Julia Fordham joins us in the program. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. Her songs dominated the airwaves in the 80s and the 90s, a platinum record holder and hits after hits after hits. She's popularly known as the soulful voice behind the songs Love Moves in Mysterious Ways. I was about to sing it. Happy Ever After. And Where Does the Time Go? Now she's back in the country to sing for her Filipino fans once again. Let's go straight to the source of the story. International singer and songwriter Julia Fordham. Julia, welcome to the Philippines. I'm so happy to meet you in person.
And I want
Is this really you?
This is really me, and I want to hear Pinky, as I'm sure all of you do, singing Love Moves in Mysterious Ways. Oh, Happy Ever After, take your pick.
Yeah, you know, I was saying that that has to be your most popular song. Is it? What do you say? It's your most
I think
popular
that
song?
I've learned that the Filipino people are very romantic. And many years ago, when I was here doing a gig, a guy called Raitt proposed to a lovely lady called Angelique during that song at the show. And I think that something about that wonderful chemistry and moment catapulted the song into the hearts and minds of the Filipino people.
There's something so perfect about that song.
Yeah.
It's the lyrics, it's the tone, it's how it's beautifully blended, I guess, huh?
Well, I think the thing about Love Moves is that I call it my lucky break song because I was in LA recording my third album. And I'm British, and I lived in London at that time. And I got one of those phone calls. Linda Ronstadt is unable to make it into the studio today. Can you come and sing this song? And I actually just went and sang the song. Yeah. And it was one of those things that, you know, just say yes to life. Sometimes, you know, instead of saying, oh, I don't know, I was going to do A, B, and C, and I'm not sure who's the musician. I was just like, sure. And
you didn't have second thoughts about doing it.
They actually said, you know, you can have any musicians that you want. And I was naming all my favorite musicians in LA, and they were like, yeah, we can do that. So it was just really has connected with the hearts of the Filipino people. So I'm glad to come and sing it for them every time I come here.
So it was almost like an accident.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually was.
Well,
yeah.
and it's probably, yeah.
But you know, the thing also I love about the Filipino people is they're quite discerning because they love that song, but they also love other songs that I'm known for that I've written, like Happy Ever After and Invisible War and Girlfriend, Porcelain, Something Right. So there's, you know, I just met a lovely gentleman who works here called Cliff, and he's got every single CD that I've ever written. So I think that the point that I'm realizing is that the Filipino
is that
people
him?
have, he's actually here.
He looks
Cliff.
familiar, huh?
Has excellent taste, is what.
Also, one of our bosses, so happy to meet you as well. So, wait a minute. So, here's a little bit of history that I found out. You started, of course, you're British, you're a singer-songwriter. You started as a backup singer, right?
Well, my first gig is honestly, I was 14.
Okay.
And that was in a local folk club near where my parents live.
A folk club?
And my parents were, I remember I was trying to get into the musical community, and of course my parents were horrified and worried about my schoolwork and all of these things, as they should well have been.
Yeah, at 14 years old.
Exactly, but I remember my mum came along to this meeting with the guy who ran the local folk club, and you know, she said, you know, and he explained to her that I had a gift, you know, with my songs and my writing talent, and my mum said that I could play weekly at the folk club on the condition that there would be no drinking of alcohol and no smoking of funny cigarettes. And to this day I laugh about that. So I started really doing my own songs in folk clubs. And then I joined the National Youth Jazz Orchestra for a while when I was a teenager. But to get myself work in London, because I thought, I have to get a record deal, how do you do that? So I moved to London from Hayling Island, a little tiny blob on the south coast of England where my mum still lives. And I started, you know, to do work singing for other people. I did like commercials and jingles.
How old were you then?
I was like 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
An adult already.
I was adult, but I mean now 19 feels like a little tiny embryo baby, right? But
an adult feels like a child now.
Right, that's true.
I'm sorry, an 18-year-old rather, yeah.
Right. So, and then I started singing with other people, and I had a wonderful time with Kim Wilde, who's a wonderful singer, and also another one called Mary Wilson, and joined a number of bands. But all the time behind the scenes and touring and traveling with them, I would always be working on my own songs.
Yeah.
And actually, Happy Ever After and Where Does the Time Go and Invisible War, 3 of the songs I'm really known for here.
Yes.
I was writing at that time, and then I managed to get my own record deal and, you know, start my own.
But how soon did you know you had the talent of writing and singing? I mean, how do you know that you would probably stand out and you'd be a popular singer eventually?
Well, I don't think you ever know that.
Really?
I knew that. I was 12 and I was at an assembly at school, and 2 other girls were singing The Streets of London, which is a sort of folk song by an English artist called Ralph McTell, and they also sang Blowing in the Wind, the song by Bob Dylan, but I didn't know that. And they were stood there singing these songs, and everyone was looking, and I had that moment, age 12, like, I want to be in their gang. I'd already worked out I wasn't in the sports gang because it wasn't competitive.
I want to be in their gang. Yeah,
I want to be in their
it.
gang. So when they came off the stage and everyone was clapping, I was like, that's a guitar, how does that work? And one of the girls who I'm still in touch with to this day, called Pat Cousins, said to me, well, come to my house at lunchtime and I'll show you 3 chords. So I went back to her house and her mum made us this little lunch, and she showed me 3 chords on the guitar, and as soon as I had those chords, I was off writing my own songs.
No.
So I then, that's why from 12 to 14, I already had quite a collection of songs. So by the time I was in a folk club at 14, I was already doing my own material.
But when you were 12, prior to you wanting to be with that group, you were already singing on your own.
Not really.
No?
No, I didn't realize my voice until I did a little bit, but I wasn't.
Yeah, you weren't like that star who would sing in front of your family.
I never did that with the hairbrush and the. No, I never did that. I didn't realize that I had a good voice until other musicians and singers started to tell me. I didn't feel like I must share this voice.
Really?
I think it was when I first got into the adult environment of being in a folk club that people were then saying to me, you know, you have an unusually large range. You can sing really high and really low.
Yeah.
And they started to introduce me, that community, to people like Joni Mitchell and Joan Armatrading and other singers and songwriters. And then I was like, wow, you can make a living at this? Look, this is an album. I want to make one of those.
So wait a minute, did you finish school? Remember that was...
My child might see this video, so she believes that I went to college, and I'm sticking to that theory. My poor parents, I killed them. I didn't go to college because I left and went to London to join the backing singing and do the thing.
There you go.
But I will now edit that as I'm saying it, because of course I don't want the same life for my kids.
Yeah. We won't let them watch this.
But I think that by that time, just to say, it was very clear by the time I was 18, when you go to college, that I might, in fact, I mean, my poor dad, he was terribly upset, and he said, his idea was, he said, well, look, if you haven't been able to get a record deal by the time that you're 21, then you should go back to college then.
Oh, so there was that deal.
Yeah, but my song, Where Does the Time Go, that Filipino people know and love, I wrote that on my 21st birthday, because I still didn't have a record deal, and I was sat there and going, oh no, my dad's going to call me any second and go, it's time.
You need to go back to school.
Exactly, but ironically, that song is the thing that got me my record deal.
Was that the first song you wrote that made it big?
Really, I think Happy Ever After was the first song
one,
that I wrote that made it big, because it was interesting because it had the the political twist in it, and I think that people found that interesting because I was writing this happy ever after love song, and then I had, being an English person, a tea break and went and had my cup of tea, and I was like, why am I writing a song about being happy ever after? Because I'd flicked on the television and there was a piece about Nelson Mandela and apartheid in South Africa, and he was still imprisoned at that time, and I just could not believe the grace of this human being, and then really the shocking truth about apartheid, and it just really struck me.
At what
deeply.
age was this?
I think I was probably 21 around this time, because I was working on my own songs, and I felt like I have something to say about that. And the intention was pure, and it just connected with people. And so really that's my song that I took to record companies along with Where Does the Time Go, and also Invisible War.
But in Happy Ever After, what was the most telling line for you in that song?
Well,
which part would it be?
I think it would probably be the part where it goes into the South Africa happy ever after moment, and then taking away I mean, singer-songwriters tend to be, reflective, and they're looking at the truth of their story to share. But I feel like in that particular moment I successfully blended something from a political standpoint that I felt to be true. And now, true story, here in Manila, I'm working on a new version that I'm going to be singing.
Are you?
Yes, I swear.
Okay.
I mean, and I can't even say Tagalog well.
I'm going to teach you during the break.
Say Tagalog to me, because I'm trying to say it.
So, okay, so we're going to take a short break. So how you say it is Tagalog?
Tagalog.
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 There you go.
I've got it.
Or, it's easier to say Filipino.
But now I know it's Tagalog.
All right. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, international singer and songwriter Julia Fordham. So you were talking about Happy Ever After. You're going to do a little bit of a Filipino rendition.
I'm trying. I feel like Happy Ever After is my song that's literally taken me around the world, because it was my first song that went to #1 in Japan, and I've been using it in a way to sort of be current, because when it was written it was about Nelson Mandela being in prison and happy ever after, and how can that situation ever have happy ever after. And about 10 years ago I was asked if I would rewrite the section in the middle of the song, instead of being about South Africa, but to have like a Malaysian chant to try and raise funds to build a school in India that had been wiped away by the 2004 tsunami. So I did that, and then since I've been here in the Philippines, I was asked if I would sing for some children today who are going to come to the rehearsal.
Today? Yeah.
Today. And I said, well, I could try and yesterday this seemed like a very good idea. I could try and do something special for them in Tagalog. And everyone was like, that's such a great idea, except I don't know any Tagalog. So I've rewritten the South African chant, and now today we're going to go, Masaya tayo sa pamilya.
Masaya kayo sa pamilya.
So I'm trying to say that we are all one inclusive family, because the kids that we're going to be singing, their parents, one of them or both of them, are in prison. So we're trying to include them in. We have a fantastic Filipino band for our show at the NPAT on Friday the 22nd, and we're just trying to do something for the local community while I'm here.
So far that's what you know. That's what you sang.
Yes,
how did you sing that again?
I'm going Masaya tayo sa pamilya.
Masaya tayo sa pamilya.
Yes.
Okay.
She's in the band.
I'm in. I made it.
But I'm also trying to rewrite the whole middle section about Manila. And about, the heart of the Manila people, So, but I don't have much time, but I'm going to be getting both sides of my brain working, because we're going to try and teach the kids this chant.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they're going to be, they'll learn it so fast.
Yeah, faster than me.
So, can you tell me the difference? I mean, way back, of course, 80s, 90s to the singers now. How would you compare? How has it evolved for you?
Well, for me, I mean, I have had a child quite late in life. So I've now got a 13-year-old daughter who's listening to all the sort of current music now. So as far as the scene goes, or the way that songs are written, for me, I still commit to a very kind of organic and innate way of writing. So songs come to me, so I don't sort of sit down and go, I'm going to try and write something. I mean, apart from when I'm trying to rewrite a section, that's like an earth presence. Yeah. But I feel like for me, songs come to me and there's some sort of mystery and magic about that. And I just stick to that. I think that what's different is that now people don't actually buy albums anymore. Everything is on Spotify. It's all very instant. But I think that I just try and stay gracious and true to who I am and the way that I am. I don't try and go, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo Love Moves and get a rapper in. And then we're going to go really fast and I'm going to start wearing really short skirts and a lot of hair and makeup. You know, you have to be who you are. And I think that the art of the pop song is still very much alive. If you look at someone like Bruno Mars, who my kid absolutely loves, and that's the carpool favourite, you know. These are phenomenal songs, and then Cardi B comes on, she does a brilliant rap, and then the melody's amazing, but the sort of traditional start to finish song is still what I'm committed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you stick to that, the organic, raw.
Yes, that's. I see myself as a singer-songwriter, and I always have.
You stay true to that.
Yes, and I stay true to that. So there is a time and place where the light shines on you and your song, but you must always continue to be who you are. I never presented myself as a pop star. So if you're coming in as a pop star, then you have to keep changing, and then it's like the different outfit, and then
Right.
I'm not. That's not my role on the earth. It's the way I see it.
But okay, so how many times have you actually gone here to the Philippines?
Well, I thought it was 5, but apparently Cliff, number 2 fan, as I'm calling him, who works here at CNN, because I have a number 1 Filipino fan, and his name is Odie, and they know each other, apparently.
So how many?
They
how
told
many times?
me 6.
6.
I was saying 5, but apparently it's 6.
I also, Julia, wanted to talk about the time, I think you were last here in 2014, was it? And you did some shows for, was it the Yolanda victims, was it? Did that happen as well?
Yes, we did that. That was back to the point I was just making earlier, is that we always try to involve some kind of Filipino or Manila aspect. So it just, I don't want to feel like I'm just like flying in and then I'm not connected to the community in some way. So
has that always been you? That when you go somewhere, you need to somehow, of course you connect to the people, your fans, while you're singing, but connecting in some other way as well?
I feel it more in this country for some reason. I think there's something about the heart of the Filipino that resonates with me, and also when you arrive here, there are always people asking you to be involved, and if someone asks me to be involved, I feel compelled to be involved. Often if I go to Japan and I maybe play Billboard Live like I just did, it's about that gig. But if they ask me to do something, in the same way that I was asked to be part of that project to raise funds for the tsunami in 2004, then yes, I feel compelled to share it. But I don't like anything that's forced. It's sort of, I'm quite disciplined, but I also like to kind of go with the flow, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, if it's forced, it's a little harder. Not a little harder, it's just really harder.
Yes.
It has to come naturally.
Yes, yeah, and I feel like my new chant, my Tagalog chant, is going to be natural by the time I sing it this afternoon.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, by Friday, definitely.
And then we'll do it by Friday at the gig at the Empire. And I'll sing it. I'm going to do my new Manila Filipino.
Oh, we're going to look forward to that. What about inspiration? Who are your favorite singers? I mean, way back and now.
Well, I love singers and songwriters and voices. I really am like a cheerleader. I just like, my favorite singer and songwriter right now are probably 2 British women. One is called Laura Mvula, and the other girl is called Leanne Havas. Okay. And they, to me, are just like these unbelievable blinding talents with these gorgeous voices and gorgeous playing. They're both on their 2nd records. One of my favourite singers is Bonnie Raitt. There's not a voice I don't like. I mean, Adele, unbelievable. Sade, extraordinary. My favourite artist as writers, my number 1 singer-songwriter is Joni Mitchell.
I see.
I think she's phenomenal. I'm also doing a project in England with 2 amazing women who I absolutely love and are fans of. One is called Judy Zook. She was a big influence on me, and also Beverly Craven.
I see.
And I'm doing a project with them, and I'm working on a new album with them, and I'm really enjoying being in a harmony band right now. Yeah. But I just really love, I love Sting, Peter Gabriel, I love Michael McDonald's voice, There are so many voices that I love.
There's so much talent all over the world, even here in the Philippines.
So much talent. Yeah, I was just looking at something. I mean, just unbelievable. I mean, I just sang with two amazing singers at the weekend on ASAP, and I just looked them up. I thought, oh, these people are amazing.
I think you sang with Juris and Augie Alcacid. Yeah, you sang.
They had beautiful voices.
I think you sang Love Moves with Juris.
Love Moves with Juris, and then we did Where Does the Time Go?
Oh, with
Augie came in and he came
I know, I saw that.
It's Augie, I'm saying it wrong. It's not Ogie. I'm saying so. I'm not
you're in the Philippines,
my
it's
Tagalog is not right at all on that one. But
yeah, I heard that. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
that Sunday.
There's some wonderful artists here.
All right, future plans. What's in store? What are you thinking of doing next? Is there something else?
Well, for me, I'm never like, I'm going to be a gardener now, or I really must learn how to bake a cake. I actually genuinely plan to be singing until I'm 80. That's my goal. I want to be like, when my kid goes to college at 18, very much like I did.
Remember,
people? I want to be a troubadour, and I'm starting that with these two women I just mentioned, Judy Zook and Beverly Craven. I'm doing this British tour with them and this album, and I feel very kind of rejuvenated by that, because I'm quite isolated. I mean, you probably have a bit of that being an anchor as well. There's sort of like it's an isolation to it. And I'm looking forward to being in a girl band with Judy and Beverly and doing that. That's my immediate.
That's nice, a girl band.
A girl band, yeah. I mean, it's clearly a woman band. It doesn't have,
it's not a girl band anymore.
Our tour is called Woman to Woman, but it's actually, we're calling it our gal band, G-A-L, because we figure that a girl band is not quite right for ladies of a certain age.
Let's do gal. Okay, let's promote the concert on Friday.
Yes, please come and see me, everyone in the Philippines, at the NPAT. I've been saying the NPAT, it's another one of my issues. I have to say NPAT. Now, how do I say this next bit? Because I keep saying that wrong too. At the resorts, Manila Resorts, something else.
Resorts World Manila?
Resorts World Manila. I'm singing all the Filipino favorites, basically, or with a Filipino band, and my own guitarist from America called Colin Ryan. So please come down to the NPAT on Friday the 22nd. We'd love to.
And you gotta stay tuned, because Julia will be singing. Are you gonna sing Love Moves for us, or?
I can do a bit. Love moves in mysterious ways. It's always so surprising when love appears over the horizon. I love you for the rest of my days. Still, it's a mystery how you ever came to me, which only proves love moves in mysterious ways.
Julia, thank you so much.
It'd be better with a band guitarist and a warmed up voice.
No. I mean, you got me there already. Julia Fordham, thank you so much. And thank you for coming to the Philippines. Your sixth time, according to Cliff.
I love it here.
You should bring Cliff around, huh? At least every time you're in Manila, so
let's go
there's
on the road.
Cliff.
Come on. There's Cliff over there.
All right, Julia, again, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
is The Source on CNN Philippines. Coming up, a Japanese comic based on the life of Jose Rizal. That's for today's In Focus.